One solution for you is to log your time. You may have heard about this before, and it's the kind of thing that maybe we hear about, maybe we read a blog on it, but then we don't actually do it. And here, the payoff is in the application, I promise you. I've logged my time twice. Honestly, only for a couple days, and even just doing it for a couple days was everything that I needed to learn. Here is my time log from the last couple days. As you can see, I just used an Excel spreadsheet in half-hour increments. Also, while I have you guys here and I'm doing this in post, I just want to say there should be no shame in this, just like we have a lot of shame with things like food. Often we feel lazy when it comes to productivity, and this is not about that. It's not actually about a moral implication or being good or bad. This is just about being able to follow through on the goals that we want. That's the whole reason I made this video. So please don't be too hard on yourself if you do find out through this process that you do waste some time. I sure found out that I did, but then some days were more productive than others. I actually continued to do it for a couple days after shooting this video. I had a feeling that I was wasting a lot of time. I had no idea how much time. And it was doing stuff that really didn't even provide enjoyment. See, that's the thing. You know, they say wasted time that you enjoy is not wasted time. I 100% agree. If you are watching a wonderful TV show that you enjoy, that is fine. I'm not one of those people who says every single second of your day should be productive. But let me give you an example of something that I did for, I don't know, half an hour yesterday. It's in my time log. I was on YouTube and something was about Kristen Stewart not liking interviews and feeling like awkward in them or feeling awkward with being famous. I watched it and I don't know, I actually found her quite lovely. I thought that she seemed just genuine and endearing. But anyway, then I saw some interviews with Jennifer Lawrence in other thumbnails on the side of the page, and I was like, well, I think Jennifer Lawrence really likes doing interviews. So let me compare and contrast them for no reason. Literally, I just was curious because I already was invested in this. I'd already spent 15 minutes on it. Why not 15 minutes more? So then I watched Jennifer Lawrence interviews and I was like, oh yeah, she does seem to really enjoy talking to the host. And I'm like, why? I have stuff to do. I started a business a while ago. I'm in the startup phase of a business. During a work day, there is no reason that this should be happening. And it's not even that I really enjoy that. Like, I'm personally watching Gilmore Girls for the first time, and I've really enjoyed after dinner just watching half an hour of that before bed. And that's time that I can unwind and I enjoy, and just watching random things or like reading articles on like, are long nails back in? Why? In the middle of the day. And so when you account for your time minute by minute, you can just see the random crap that it goes to. And I know there's probably some of you that maybe genuinely are robots, I don't know, and your time doesn't go to random stuff, but I think that it's a little bit like whack-a-mole. You know that game at Dave & Buster's where you hit one mole and then another one pops up. So maybe you've eliminated things on TikTok or, Snapchat, you don't use Twitter, whatever. Maybe there's something else that you do, like you text people more than you realize, or maybe you just, I don't know, sit down and zone out staring at your wall, thinking of random anxieties or, regrets or just random stuff. Or maybe you talk on the phone to that friend that you don't even really enjoy. I'm going to link an article down below, but it was saying that most people are only truly productive for about 2.8 hours a day, even if they're being paid for about 8 hours of work. And that makes sense, right? Because there's only a certain amount of day that we're actually in high level thought, making decisions, doing creative projects, tangibly working on projects versus doing things like, just being in a meeting, half paying attention, doing emails, scrolling through our phone, taking a break, kind of zoning out at our computer. Or again, that's the whole idea of this video, time just slipping away in random aspects. Again, I'm not talking about taking a deliberate break to maybe go for a walk around the neighborhood or meet a friend for a cup of coffee. It's not about being a robot all day. It's just about knowing where our time is going so we can be intentional about it. So another thing I learned with this time logging is most time that I felt that was just escaping me that I wasn't aware of had to do with screens. I think I'm pretty curious, so if I think of a question, I'll just want to type it in a search engine, like, oh, what's the difference between an Enneagram 2 and 6 if I get them messed up and I can't tell which one my best friend is. It's like I might search that and then just spend a long time reading it, or end up in a conversation texting someone and not realize that it's literally been 20 minutes of typing back and forth when we could have just had a phone call another time. It's screens. I don't know. I really don't think it's just me. You know, I was embarrassed to look at my screen time. I think that sometimes we get the notification on our phone for how much we have, but then we're not accounting for our computer or our tablet or other things, or our work computer. And it's insane the amount of hours a day we're looking at a screen, which I'm not even getting into other things about how that might impact our health or well-being or relationships. Just time-wise, you almost go into a vortex and then don't realize where your time goes, because one thing leads you to another, which leads you to another. And so I think it's even more critical to be aware of where your time is going when you're spending a lot of times on screens, or when your schedule is flexible. I think one reason why I did waste so much time, as I could see on my time log, is because I have a more flexible schedule than most people do. If you're expected to do a certain amount of work, like if you're a nurse at a shift at the hospital, obviously you're not going to be wasting time, because you're literally helping someone, saving their life, drawing blood, doing different things. But if you're someone who, let's say you're a freelancer, you work from home from 8 in the morning till, I don't know, 6 at night, I bet that there's a lot of time just sort of escaping other ways, because I think that would happen to anyone unless we're extremely conscious or aware of it. The last thing that I want to talk about on this is the most important, because it's not about just micromanaging and analyzing where your time is going. That doesn't matter. What matters is living a life of purpose and living a life according to what matters to you, according to your values, according to your vision and your mission and what you want to do while you're here. And if you don't know, that's okay. Not everybody knows right away, but I do think that there's something that matters to you. There's an impact you want to have. And that's why you're watching this, right? Because you can feel deep down that there's things you want to do and that time is slipping by and you're not doing them. So occasionally taking time to write those out. What are the things you want to do when you're here? They can be short-term goals. They can be long-term goals. It could just be a sort of loose idea. It doesn't even have to be a tangible goal or project. But staying true to that, looking back at that list every now and then, looking up, oh gosh, it's going to be cheesy, but my favorite thing to do is look up at the stars and just feel so tiny and think about the fact that I can still do a lot while I'm here, even if I'm just a microscopic piece of stardust in the scheme of things, and my life's going to be over in an instant and it won't mean anything to the universe. But I don't know, it's usually not quite that morbid. It's coming out that way here. But the point is that I know that you have something you want to create of meaning. And I think that's why we're in love with things like Star Wars and Harry Potter, is because we feel like we're getting to be on a journey like the protagonist, leaving this world a better place, fighting for something meaningful. And if you spend your life scrolling, watching, consuming, hanging out, not sure where the time goes, you won't have the chance to do it, and I won't have the chance to do it. And I want more for you. I want more for me. I want more for all of us. Every day, remembering what matters to you and what you want to achieve and why is really, I think, the only thing that will help you spend your time on what matters, because you'll wake up and you'll write, you'll work on that writing piece, or you'll send the email you're scared of, or you'll take the step and apply to that graduate program, even if that's just doing one little thing to get closer to that, like registering for a prereq or emailing a program director or registering for the GRE. You're going to break those steps down. You're going to take a step, and then putting that at the forefront of your calendar. Not having it on some to-do list for the future, or just having it in your mind that you will maybe do it at some point, but actually blocking it off in your calendar and making it happen. You have the big picture of what matters to you. You're staying aligned with it because you're keeping it front of mind. And then you're syncing that up by kind of checking in with how are you spending your day-to-day, minute to minute, And it doesn't have to be a critical thing where you're mad at yourself. It's just being honest with yourself so that when you look back on your life, you know you spent that time on things that mattered to you.